Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. Yesterday, I brought you a video all about this book called Can You Catch a Cold? And wowee, were there some great comments. I'm so glad that I took a chance to air this video. In fact, the name of the video is called I'm Taking a Huge Risk Challenging the Germ Theory. And what I meant by that title is that YouTube doesn't really care for this type of content. My friend, Dr. Sam Bailey, has had to be very cautious in airing videos because she has been censored so much. And this video is actually an interview by Dr. Sam, and she interviews the author of the book, Daniel Roitas. And I wanted to share some of your comments, and then I wanted to tell you more from Dr. Sam as to why we get sick. So Windhammer says, challenge everything we've been told is the truth. Truth fears no challenge. And I agree with that. And I really appreciate that comment. Pablo's dog said, I just purchased 4 copies of his book as well as Sam's, and I'll be sharing these with curious folks. Kudos to Peggy for posting this vid. Well, you are so welcome, Pablo. I did take a risk. I hope that YouTube is going to keep this video up. I have had strikes on this channel before, but this information is so powerful, it needs to get out there. And it is the truth. He is sharing his 4 years of research into evidence, or I should say the lack of evidence regarding the germ theory. Deb says, brilliant interview, Peggy. Thank you to you, Daniel and Sam. You are so welcome, Deb. And Gisele says, I just ordered the book. Thanks for posting this. And she shared. Walter said, Pasteur lied, millions died. And of course, that is Louis Pasteur. And he was the one who popularized the germ theory. I did a video for you the other day about an older theory of why people get sick based on the 4 humors. And I'll share that with you in just a moment. And J. Raw Rose quotes Herbert Shelton saying, contrary to popular belief, a cold is not something we catch, but it represents a process of getting rid of something we have slowly accumulated. Another commenter said something along the line, I think it was Chris, said that driving by a house that burnt down and seeing the ashes is like calling the ashes the cause of the fire. And that's kind of like calling germs the cause of disease. Patricia says this was certainly worth the risk, Peggy. Keep spreading the good word. You are so welcome, Patricia. And Caitlin says, fantastic interview. Doctors Cowan and Kaufman facilitated the scales lifted from my eyes in 2020. Thank you for sharing, Peggy. Yes, I know Dr. Cowan and Dr. Kaufman. I've interviewed both of them. I appeared in Dr. Kaufman's movie called Terrain. And I have interviewed Dr. Cowan back in 2020, and that had to come down very quickly because of the censorship. I will try to dig that up again and air that. Hopefully now YouTube is allowing the truth to be out there. So again, this is the book, Can You Catch a Cold? Daniel Roitas, and that is the foreword by my friend, Dr. Sam Bailey, who I've interviewed on this channel as well. And this is the question that we're going to answer. This is what Sam is going to answer. I'm going to play a very short video with her explaining why we do get sick. And I think this comment is so important, and it is also a common one. So nobody really says, I watch my grandkids. One set came to my house with stomach flu. Within 24 hours, I too was sick with stomach flu. I recovered in a few days. Then another set of grandkids came with the stomach flu. Sure enough, I was sick again within 24 hours with the stomach flu. If not a contagion, then what? I'm a very healthy grandmom. I eat very healthy and exercise. Serious question. I do not believe in doctors and hospitals, as I know they lie and harm, she says. So I love this question. It's a question that I have heard before. I know that Dr. Sam has heard it, Dr. Cowan, Dr. Kaufman, probably Daniel Roitas. And in a video that I did a couple of days ago, which was called Why People Get Sick, I would refer everyone to this video where I describe the 4 humors theory. Remember, these are all theories. No one truly has the answer except God. And I imagine he will impart that wisdom to some of us. But this is a very interesting video about the purported causes of illness and dis-ease prior to the germ theory. And that talks about your environment, it talks about sanitation, it talks about water, it talks about the air, it talks about your emotions, it talks about the food you eat, your own personal constitution. And I really appreciate this question about why do you get sick, or why do some people get sick when they're with others that get sick? I'm going to pose a different question. Why is it that I can be around people who are sick and I don't get sick? So if contagion is a thing, then wouldn't every single person get sick if they were all exposed to the so-called same pathogen or virus? So I'm going to turn that question on its head. Why don't some people get sick and other people do? Well, Dr. Sam is going to answer that question in this video, which I am replaying from her channel on YouTube. And she also has a website, drsambailey.com, and I will link that for you in the description box below. So let's find out what Dr. Sam has to say about the real reason why people get sick.
When my husband Mark and I were doctors in the medical system, we were faced with an onslaught of unwell people. We could help some of the acute cases, but on a wider front, our interventions were generally futile. A major problem back then was not knowing what really made people ill in the first place. The fatal flaw in allopathic medicine is the focus on suppressing symptoms instead of identifying and reversing the underlying causes. And when people remain sick despite all the interventions, the system invents a cover story. In the present era, one of the biggest cover stories is viruses, and the public have been led to believe they are a constant menace to humanity. However, there's a problem. The entire virus model has been eviscerated and relegated to an unproven hypothesis. While that may be so, one of the sticking points for many people is, but if it's not a virus, what made me sick? In this video, I'll go through 40 things that actually affect your well-being. Rather than imaginary viruses, these factors are real, can be targeted, and must be addressed in order to achieve optimal health. Almost all of us have been lulled into the virus story at some stage of our lives. When we have a spotty rash as a child, or fever and aches when we are older, it's blamed on a virus. When a toddler gets sick in daycare, it's declared that a virus must be going around. When a friend develops a so-called autoimmune disease, a hidden virus is implicated. And when a family member suffers from chronic fatigue, it's suggested they have a post-viral syndrome. It's tempting to think that some contagious entity could be responsible for all of these things, but the virus model is a false paradigm. In fact, it's a dangerous belief system that leads people to neglect why their health becomes compromised. So, for anyone asking, if it's not a virus, what's making me sick then? Here are 40 reasons that should be carefully considered. Maybe it's because you aren't getting enough sleep. Maybe it's because of relentless fear propaganda, including fear propaganda about alleged viruses. Maybe it's because you are eating too much. Maybe it's because you are not doing enough exercise. Maybe it's because your diet consists of highly processed, nutritionally bankrupt foods. Maybe it's because your spotless fruit and vegetables have been sprayed with chemicals. Maybe it's because your water source is poor or contains chemicals like fluoride, chlorine, and nitrites. Maybe it's because of synthetic additives and colorings in your food. Maybe it's because you ate a natural food, but it was no longer fresh. Maybe it's because you are consuming processed and pasteurized milk rather than the real stuff. Maybe it's because you are drinking too much alcohol. Maybe it's because you are drinking beverages laced with artificial sweeteners. Maybe it's because you are dehydrated. Maybe it's because you are not getting enough sunlight. Maybe it's because you are not grounding. Maybe it's because the seasons are changing and humidity has increased. Maybe it's because your home is too cold or contains excessive mold. Maybe it's because your house is made of materials that leach chemicals. Maybe it's because of a pharmaceutical or supplement you are taking. Maybe it's because of a vaccine injury. Maybe it's because of exposure to heavy metals in dental fillings or contaminated fish. Maybe it's because of aluminium toxicity. Maybe it's because of the chemicals in cosmetics, perfumes, and personal care products. Maybe it's from exposure to hand sanitizers, harsh cleaners, and synthetic wipes, or chemicals in dry cleaned clothing and your furniture. Maybe it's because your bedding and living spaces are unhygienic. Maybe it's because you hate your job and are seeking a way out. Maybe it's because you feel abandoned and scared. Maybe it's because you are in an unhappy or toxic relationship. Maybe it's because you feel lonely. Maybe it's because you resent something that happened to you. Maybe it's because your life lacks purpose. Maybe it's because you lost someone you loved. Maybe it's because you are worried about money. Maybe it's because you live in a noisy environment and are assaulted by artificial sounds. Maybe it's because you are immersed in the digital realm and have lost your connection to nature. Maybe it's because of constant exposure to screens and LED lighting. Maybe it's because you are bombarded by electromagnetic fields. Maybe it's because of air pollution. Maybe it's because you are in a state of dangerous toxicity and need to fast. Maybe you don't realize that our bodies are perfectly created and can heal spontaneously. So there we go. The next time someone asks what is making them sick, if it's not a virus, you can check whether they have considered these 40 reasons. By no means are they the only considerations, but it provides an excellent starting point. Thankfully, there is a growing realization that the virus model has nothing to do with health and everything to do with serving vested interests. The next step is to help people take back control of their well-being through the principles of right thinking and right living. For those wanting more information, please check out all of the free health information we provide at drsambailey.com. There you will also find detailed technical refutations of the virus model, including Dr. Mark Bailey's treatise, A Farewell to Virology. There is also the option of becoming a member of Dr. Sam's community through our website or the Substack platform. Both options give you full access to our fortnightly Q&A sessions, where we discuss hundreds of health and wellbeing topics. Please share this video with anyone who may benefit from the information, and I hope to see you all again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please visit supportdrsam.com.